Hello and welcome. My name is Zaffar Iqbal, and you are watching the Mojo Story. At the CII Annual Business Summit 2025, Air Force Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh flagged persistent delays in procuring critical military platforms, and he bluntly stated that not a single project he could recall had met its deadline, clearly underscoring a major hurdle in India's push for self reliance in defense. He called Operation Sindoor a national victory, and he praised the seamless coordination among forces and hailed indigenous systems for their performance. A very significant speech he made, and he touched upon many things. To get a better understanding, we are joined today by Dr. Augustine Vinod, Group Captain. Welcome to Mojo Story, sir. You heard the Air Chief. Uh, what is your sense of the speech that he made? He touched upon different things. What struck me was that he particularly talked about trust and technology. He said that trust is ingrained in a soldier, it's not built. And he rather spent a lot of time explaining that before he spoke about the technology part of it.
As usual, Zafar Bhai, good to be on your show and in Mojo Story as well. A very pertinent topic to touch upon today. And, hats off to Chief. I don't know, in my memory, as anyone in uniform, let alone a chief, has flagged this very, very important issue.
Yeah.
And he did so very candidly. And I would also, say with very bravely.
Hmm.
Many people, what they do is when they reach certain senior level, they employ a philosophy which I call ruffle no feathers.
Hmm.
अब जैसे चल रहा है चलने दीजिए. Don't upset the apple cart and continue as it is continuing. For eons, which is the
Right.
major problem that we have faced since 1947. See, we are a land of very intelligent people, and numbers speak for themselves. You go to any place in the world. I've traveled all over the world recently. I've been traveled all over US. Every place that I've been to, Indians are perceived or looked at as people who have head screwed on right and have brains in their head. So,
Right.
with so much of intelligence, brain, and whatever, what have you, we have not been able to change the status quo. And we have not been, forget about changing the status quo, Safarbai. We have not been able to question the status quo. हमने स्टेटस quo को कभी क्वेश्चन ही नहीं किया है. ये सबसे बड़ा मैं बता रहा हूँ. अगर इंडिपेंडेंस इंडिया में in the history of independence India, this is the biggest disservice many senior people have done for India. If things are left as it is, अमेरिका में एक कहावत है, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. अगर टूटा नहीं है तो आप उसको उंगली न लगाइए. जैसे चल रहा है चलने दीजिए. So this is the first time, and I know AP sir since his squad leader days. When he was a squad leader, I think I was a pilot officer. When he converted to Mirage 2000, so when I was a cadet, he was an instructor. So I learned under him when he was an instructor in Bidar. Then when I came to Mirage 2000, he was converting to Mirage 2000 as a test pilot. So उनकी जो इनिशियल मिराज 2000 की कन्वर्जन है वो मेरी नेतृत्व में हुई. तो हमारी जो और जब वो कमांडिंग ऑफिसर थे, मैं इस तरफ डिप्टी फ्लैग कमांडर था नॉर्थ ईस्ट में. तो उस दौरान भी हमारी काफी अच्छी इंटरेक्शन रही. तो वी नो ईच अदर फॉर वेरी वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम. एंड आई नो एपी सर हैज नेवर, in at least in my memory, has never pulled back a punch and always kept. And इससे पहले भी जो हमने भी आई थिंक डिस्कस किया था इसके बारे में, जो एरो इंडिया में जब इन्होंने एचएल को जो
Yeah.
फटकार लगाई थी, वो खुफिया
Yeah.
कैमरा
Yeah.
ने पकड़ लिया था. तो
Yeah.
that at that time also he kept, always has kept nation first. I have not seen AP sir keep any of his interest first ever, and that is amply visible. He said so. I think he's the first senior officer in the independent India who has called out this problem. Not
And he's
even
called it,
one
and he's
particular.
called it out publicly, and he's called it out publicly, and that is
Unlike
what
last
makes it.
time,
Yeah,
where it was Khufia camera had caught it, this
yeah,
time he publicly stated it. He
yeah,
doesn't remember, even I don't remember a single program in which हमें पता है, the moment you sign it, you know this is going to get delayed.
yeah.
And I will also add one more thing. Suppose you want to buy some high-end technology from somewhere in the world. The local our organizations have to say that they may not be able to provide. Then only you can buy. But without even technology existing, without even proof of concept existing, without even having any idea, most of the times I have seen these people say, okay, yes, we will provide it within
Mm.
2 months. 2 months becomes 2 years, 2 years becomes 20 years. Tejas is a very beautiful example. See,
Yeah,
Tejas
yeah.
may.
In fact, I wanted to ask you, as a former IAF pilot, we have been
Mm,
hearing about Tejas for years altogether now.
mm.
Many, many years. It is not something just 1 or 2 years. It's been many years now. How do you assess the operational impact of the delays in, platforms like Tejas, which is taking such a long time?
No, it is, of course. पिछले 10-15 साल से तो it is already in service. There are 2 squadrons which is working. All that is fine. But the number of how fast it came is the question. इसमें से
Yeah,
Zaffar bhai and I will tell this to our viewers also. It is not only HAL which is at fault for delays of Tejas. It is also the Indian Air Force, and Indian Air Force also not directly I will fault. Because, see, from the time we said that Tejas will come in, say, 10 years, it got delayed. By the time what happened is, world caught up with some other technology.
right,
And we wanted the technology in Tejas.
right,
So, when they produce about 80% of what we originally asked for, हमने goal post को भी shift कर दिया. We shifted the goalpost. Why? Because we needed that technology. But that shifting of goalpost meant some more delay. Then,
exactly.
when they got that shifted goalpost
Mm,
Tejas to us, those days we used to call LCA, light combat aircraft.
mm,
We shifted the goalpost again.
mm,
So ये it takes two to tango कहते हैं ना अंग्रेजी में.
mm.
ये दो लोगों का काम है. इसका डिले जो है, इसके श्रेय मैं एचएल को भी दूंगा अधिकांश, और एयरफोर्स को भी दूंगा, क्योंकि वो भी क्या मतलब मरता क्या ना करता, वो भी इस स्टेजेस के अंदर और नए नए टेक्नोलॉजी का गुआर लगाते रहे. But be that as it may, today we have something called project definition. Up AMCA, if you look at AMCA, if you look at
Mm,
Prachand, any new project, there is a project definition, and project definition is a huge document in which everything is captured. Both parties sit down, signed, and it
mm.
is, then it is written on stone. Then you're not permitted to change the, definition of the project, provided what chief said. If you meet the timeline, if you don't meet the timeline, let me give another example. Suppose Su-30, when it came to us,
Yeah,
it did not have BrahMos. It did
yes,
not have the high-speed, low drag bomb. It
yeah,
did not have many avionics suite. It did not have jammer. But
right,
as it came to the service, we kept adding on products and weapons on top of that.
yeah,
We had the capability to do so, and it is a digital bus, therefore we could do so. Suppose AMCA gets delayed, then the project definition document is now no longer has the kind of sanctity. So it is
exactly.
chicken and egg situation.
Yeah,
It will keep snowballing into delays and delays. जैसे वो
yeah.
कहते हैं ना, तारीख पे तारीख, तारीख पे तारीख
Correct.
चलता रहेगा.
And technology is changing so fast. If you don't meet your deadlines, you have to be ready for another set of technology that will come in, and you are not. You are always running behind the game. You are running behind the curve rather than being ahead of the curve. You are running behind the curve. You never catch it.
Absolutely. In fact, the other day, I was speaking to somebody very important. I'm not wanting to name him today. I was telling him, sir, we need to look at sixth generation now, not parallelly, because rest of the world is already caught up with sixth generation technology. So sixth generation fighter, which is beyond AMCA, is something which we need to look at today, right now. And we need to work on it, because by the time AMCA comes out, we should be coming out with sixth or sixth and a half
Right.
generation fighter. Because if you don't stay ahead of the curve, we will not be able to win the battle. And Operation Sindoor has taught us
Yeah,
why.
yeah,
See, let me give you an example for the sake of viewers. See, if you look at the base air defense capability of Pakistan on paper since late 80s, early 90s, it
yeah.
has on paper been very good. It is, I'm not joking. That's the only country which has air defense commands. उनका पूरा जो country है, it is divided into air defense zones. The air defense comes under one command. So whether it is Northern Army Command, Central Army Command, Southern Army Command, doesn't matter. The air defense is under one command. They have optical fiber lines and data lines well before we had it.
Right.
I just कुछ नाम था उनको उसका. They had exceptional air defense capability on paper, but in the 90s they started falling behind. In come 2000, they are way far behind. Why? Whatever money came, it went to army and not the air defense and the air
Yeah.
force.
Yeah.
See, in terms of money, the largest consumer is air force.
Yeah.
So if you allot 100 rupees for defense budget, almost 60 to 70 rupees goes to air force. Why? Because air force is more technologically intensive service. It may
Yeah.
have less people.
Sir, I want to understand that, you raised an important question about the budget, and the chief also hinted at that in his speech. In the last few conflicts, if we talk about this Operation Sindoor, if we talk about the Balakot strikes, even in the Kargil operation, the Air Force is the primary, military wing that is there fighting a conflict. Why is it that it receives less funding or less budget compared to the soldiers on the ground in the army? Because it should be other way around. Whatever next conflict happens, whenever next conflict happens, Air Force will obviously be the driving force of that conflict.
See, there is a difference, Zaffar bhai. Let me make it put it very, very clear to our viewers. Air
Yeah.
Force, for internal security, for CICT, that is counterintelligence and counterterrorism operations, Air Force contribution is very limited.
Yeah. Yeah.
Na ke
Yes.
barabar hai.
Right.
Whereas when it comes to any external conflict, the first responder and the
Yes.
massive responder and a responder which can give you result while staying within a certain framework. Like to this time also, we did not cross
Yes.
international boundary. We did
Yes.
not cross LOC, LAC, LOC.
Yes.
So
Yes.
staying within the framework of the political boundary,
Yeah.
the result that Air Force can produce, nobody can produce. We have seen that, isn't it? Adequately.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In this exchange, in this conflict, it was basically the air forces of the two countries that were, engaged with each other. It was a conflict for a few days, and it was an intense conflict, but it was essentially the air force that was there fighting this war, you know and that makes it all the more important. And what the chief said is very, very significant. As you said, that he openly said it. I don't know how, what could have he said more than this, when he says that when we write the contract, we know it at that time that it will get delayed, but हम सोचते हैं चलो आगे देखते हैं क्या. In fact, if we can play that sound bite first before going further.
Timelines is a big issue. That is where that Vachan part comes in. So once a timeline is given, not a single project that I can think of has been completed on time. So this is something where we have to look at. Why should we promise something which cannot be achieved? While signing the contract itself, some of the times we are sure that it is not going to come up. But we just sign the contract. Uske baad dekhenge kya karna. Obviously, then the process gets vitiated. Capacity building, I've already talked about.
Such gaps persist. He says that when we write the contract, we know that it's going to get delayed. But there is something called as decades of experience. It is not something that has happened suddenly. It has happened since decades. Then why isn't something being done to plug those gaps? I understand, as you were saying, that there are modifications that have happened, there are technological change that take place, but there is a concept of deadlines also. Why is it that suddenly we are forced to buy Rafales, though the process has started many years ago, but in the end, it's done in a way that it was done. Isn't there something that you take lessons from the experience?
देखिए Zafar bhai, I'll tell you something very candidly. See, I am not pointing finger at somebody, but I'm just asking a question and leaving the question in the minds of people and you. If Tejas got delayed, if AMCA gets delayed, who benefits? Who benefits? So
Right.
that is the question I want to leave. If
Yeah.
AMCA, goes on full bore, ahead of curve, comes out faster, our Atmanirbhar will benefit. If it doesn't happen fast, our squadron strength is dwindling. We are already in the beyond midlife of Sukhoi 30. Sukhoi 30 MKI ka more than
Yeah.
half its life is over. We
Right.
are ending at the life ending of Jaguar. MiG-21s are already over and done and dusted. MiG-27s are over and finished.
Yeah.
MiG-23s are over and finished long ago, mothballed. If AMCA doesn't come up on time, पर्याप्त LCA नहीं आए, जो Tejas नहीं आया, who will stand to benefit? That's the question I am not answering. I am leaving it to
That's
the able thought process of people who are watching this show and you. So very, very important that this civil partnership which is coming in and
yeah.
government has got taken I mean, in the
Yeah.
independent India, I would say 27th of May 2025 is one of the very, very historic day. It's the
Yeah.
first time we have allowed civil partnership, civil consortium, civil joint venture to come into fighter aircraft production, which will usher in faster, because see, when civilians come in or civil companies come in, they want ROI. They are not coming here to do Desh Seva. I mean, Desh Seva, yes, but they want their return on investment, and
Yes.
they want their return on investment fast. So they will work like there is no tomorrow and give you the technology. And in some cases, the foreign companies also form the form consortium. Like I was in in Florida. Florida is home for many technological companies. Met couple of them. Most of them are very excited and to join hands with HL or any other company in India to give us technology which otherwise will take 4 to 5 years for us to develop independently, isn't it? So I am hoping that this private partnership is, will accelerate AMCA's process so that we are not looking outside. What we
So
are
so so
seeing
so
on the screen
will
right
it be
now,
a game changer? With AMCA now open to
200%,
private players, open to
200%.
private players, and there's also a competition between private sector and the PSUs, and also because, as you say, they're coming in to do business, so they will have those parameters also. In as so far as delivery is concerned, so far as innovation is concerned, there will be a change in the timelines, in the deadlines that are set now after the introduction of the private players in the whole scheme of things.
Absolutely, absolutely. I only hope that our PSUs will take some lesson and the PSUs will move forward. And another very important aspect is our PSUs are still controlled by the bureaucracy. A very,
Yeah.
very sad state of affairs. If HAL has not measured up, it is a direct blot on someone, the bureaucrat who's handling HAL. What is, have we held that bureaucrat accountable till date? That's a question. See, the way we are set up was with a colonial design, reporting to the masters. So
Yeah,
the colonial design of many of our organizations need to change, isn't
absolutely.
it?
Yeah,
You can't have someone who has absolutely zero idea about how equipment is produced in the defense area, sitting on the apex body, calling the shots.
yeah,
Don't you think a professional needs to sit on top? It doesn't happen.
exactly.
These things have to change. If PSUs have to perform, we have to take it out of the stranglehold of bureaucracy. And more often than not, no bureaucrat is held accountable or responsible. I mean, I'm saying
And
it with
and
no, with so much of pain in my heart that it is it. If you don't hold them responsible and accountable, ये जो अंग्रेज छोड़ के गए वही प्रणालियां चलती रहेंगी.
and also why it's more important because of the changing nature of warfare, as the chief also stressed on, especially with drones, with technology. This will alter the Air Force's traditional combat doctrine, also becomes all the more important.
Absolutely. See, everything flows from the doctrine, Zaffar bhai. First, we sit down and write our doctrine first. And
Yeah,
doctrine flows from an higher document, which is kept in RM's office. That flows from Constitution of India.
yeah,
So everything has to eventually be conforming to the Constitution of India. And I'm happy to state here, our Constitution does not have an expeditionary design. It has
yeah,
never had, even before we didn't have a written Constitution, the
yeah,
Indian culture never had expeditionary design. We were not like, Sikandar going around the world and conquering the world. No, we never did that. We may have conquered the world taking our knowledge. We may have conquered the world going with our mathematics or geometry. What world is enjoying today as is the knowledge that went from us.
yeah,
And
exactly.
especially, I don't know how much people know. There is a theory which says the entire knowledge that Jesus possessed came from Kashmir because of his time that he
Yes.
spent there. So all
Yes,
those
yes,
things put
yes. There is a theory
all.
that he was lifted to a altitude, and there is also a theory that he's buried somewhere in downtown
Yes, yes,
Srinagar, very very close to where I live. So that's one
yes,
of the theories. But anyway,
yes.
uh, there were also moments in this speech where the chief, you know, said certain dialogues like a Salman Khan a dialogue from a movie Wanted कि जब हम commitment करते हैं तो फिर हम अपनी भी नहीं सुनते. If we can
अपने भी नहीं सुन
play that
ऐसा
sound
होना
bite.
चाहिए ना, ऐसा होना
Yeah,
चाहिए. वो साउंड बाइट सुनते
right.
हैं जरा.
Yeah,
Be some, recognition. Timelines is a big issue. That is where that Vachan part comes in. So once a timeline is given, not a single project that I can think of has been completed on time. So this is something where we have to look at. Why should we promise something which cannot be achieved? While signing the contract itself, some of the times we are sure that it is not going to come up. But we just sign the contract. उसके बाद देखेंगे क्या करना. Obviously, then the process gets vitiated. Capacity building, I've already talked about. संयम की बात करी थी RM ने, restraint. So even defense forces have been, keeping this restraint of not calling, a black sheep a black sheep. We've been trying to encourage people, but somewhere it will break down someday. So I'm sure let's stretch the thread, the elastic to that process where it is not breaking down. As far as keeping national interests first, I think we have talked about. And with this now situation where we are going, where we are opening up towards the private industry, I'm just reminded of a quote, something that Winston Churchill has said, and I'm going to quote him. To each there comes in their lifetime a special moment when they have figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered a chance to do something special. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared for that which could have been their finest hour. So my request to you all will be, this is something that can become your finest hour. You have a tap on your shoulder. Please rise to the occasion, come together. If today somebody is manufacturing world-class cars, world-class electronics, world-class equipment in the civil domain, why can't that industry or some of the industry join together and say, we will make world-class military equipment, even if it doesn't give me the profit that I'm looking for. Let's rise together to make this nation a great nation. Thank you very much for.
Right. I was wanting my producer to play that soundbite where he said that that when we make a commitment, we just complete that commitment. We'll have that bite up, but very meaningful words from the Air Chief. I think also a wake-up call perhaps for those who take the decisions that what are the immediate priorities, right? Do you think
No,
we'll see some change happening now?
see, the Vincent Churchill's quote that he said,
Yeah,
I'm also reminded of another such occasion when, Sir William Wallace comes on the field in one of the battles, speaks to his people. He says, those are farmers who've come to fight against English. Scottish
yeah,
coming to fight against English, farmers with pitchfork. And they don't want to face the English armada or English soldiers who are
yeah,
completely well equipped. And they want to go back home to their wives and children. So he says, you may live, running and hiding from English, you may live. You may die on your deathbed, somewhere hiding and running from English forever. But on that deathbed day, would you wish that you were in this battlefield trying to make a difference?
exactly.
So that is what the tap on the shoulder has been given by the government of India. But
Right.
rise to the occasion. That
Exactly.
is the biggest point. You have to rise to the occasion. See, the government will not come and produce it for you. Government will enable you. Government will set the path for you. You
Yeah,
have to grab the opportunity and make the best out of it. Without
exactly.
looking initially at the profit, profit will come.
Right.
It is very, very important, especially the EV companies and car making companies who have their top and bottom line and target set for next year. Those are the companies who can really contribute. Imagine, जो cycle बनाने वाले थे वो दो Wright brothers. They were
Mm,
cycle mechanics.
right.
They made the aeroplane, and today we are enjoying the
Yeah,
fruit of it. Did
exactly.
they think about profit at that time? No.
No,
So that is what Chief is saying. He rise to the occasion, boys.
exactly.
Make our country great.
Exactly. And before we wrap up, I'm told we have that soundbite now. We can play that soundbite finally.
Yeah.
Seafaring nation, and we need to be the big naval power. But I think whether it's a land power or naval power, Air Force will always remain. The air power will have to be interesting to both these. Any kind of operations that we do, we can't do it without air power, and I think that has been proved very well during this operations also. So our focus as far as air power is concerned, we need to make sure that we have to have the capability plus the capacity. This again has been alluded to today. We cannot just talk about producing in India. We need to start designing and developing in India also. And when it comes to producing in numbers, the capacity comes in. So we need to have this trust between the forces and the industry continued. We need to have the communication continued. We need to be open with each other. We need to be very open and forthright with each other so that this relationship doesn't break down anywhere. You know, I'm that pran jaye par vachan na jaye. RM just told today only. I think that is something that we have to do. That एक बारी जो हमने commit किया है, फिर मैं अपने आप की भी नहीं सुनता, है ना, वो वाले.
That's Salman Khan's dialogue from the movie Wanted. But thanks so much, Augustine sir, for joining us today and for sharing your thoughts. It was really a pleasure to help us understand this and put it in perspective. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for our viewers for watching the Mojo Story. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.